Okay, welcome to IELTS 7.5 lesson 18. Again, this is for people that ambitiously want to get beyond a 6, 6.5 to a 7, maybe even to a 7.5. This is lesson 18, part 2, advanced answers. So, as I say at the beginning of every lesson, the logic of your story is important. Not to the examiner, really, but to you. The logic is key to you feeling confident and delivering a good answer. The task bullet points are really a guide to help you with your logic. Remember this. They're not really what the examiner will be scoring, but they are what will help you speak good English. You must believe this. This is true. They usually follow a similar pattern and they help you in your preparation. This helps you build the native speaker logic that you will need. You don't jump around. You build a logic in a certain way, and the English language works with this logic. So the logic and the language are very close to each other in English. Let's get straight into it. Part 2, question type. An invention. Describe an invention in the home that has made life easier for people. Okay, think about that for a second. Describe an invention in the home which has made life easier for people. Right, so let's think about it. What is the topic really about? An invention in the home that has made life easier. Think about what's in a house. Don't just think the first thing that comes to mind that affects your life. Think about other things in the house. Think about others' lives. An invention in the home that has made life easier. So, what is the topic really about? Now, this is, again, the first thing you start thinking when you're given the topic card. An invention. So, many things are inventions. It doesn't have to be new. It does not have to be recent. It can be any invention from any time. In the home, so the examiner has specifically asked you for an invention in the home. So you're not going to be talking about the latest sports car. You're not going to be talking about the latest aeroplane. You're not going to be talking about Elon Musk and SpaceX or Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. You're going to be talking about an invention in the home. Well, that's quite clear. We're talking about a domestic thing, probably. That made life easier. That has made life easier. That has helped people with tasks in the home. This probably means chores or household jobs. Again, you will not lose points if you talk about something else, actually, but try and answer the question correctly because your English will be better. So, we're talking about an invention, a domestic invention in the home that's made life easier for people in the home. Okay. Another reason I'm saying this is because so many IELTS candidates, when I was an examiner, will talk about a computer. Now, the examiner is really bored of you talking about a computer because actually a computer is not really a home invention. Computers originally were never in the home. Computers were in companies, computers were in schools, computers were in universities, computers were in banks, libraries. They were only in the home much later, so they're not really an invention for the home that's made life in the home easier. So avoid talking about a computer if you get this question, because it just makes you sound, to be honest, a little bit stupid. Talk about an invention in the home, for the home that's made life easier for people in the home. Right, so we're probably talking about a machine, yes, probably, or a piece of equipment. that's helped people do housework or domestic tasks. So, let's look at the question again. Part 2, question type, an invention. Describe an invention in the home that has made life easier for people. Let's take a look. So, the bullet points are these. What the invention is, how you use it, why it has made life easier, what people do if it had, what would people do if it had not been invented? Again, the bullet points you get in the test won't be exactly like this. They'll be something like this because the bullet points vary. Let's get into my answer, part 1 of my answer. So, an invention in the home that has made life easier for people. What it does, what it is and what it does. I'd like to talk about the washing machine. It has really revolutionized life in the home. Washing machines are basically large white metal boxes that you put in the kitchen or the bathroom and are used for washing clothes and fabrics like bed sheets, pillowcases or even curtains. Put simply, you load the clothes into the machine, pull out the small plastic tray in the front and fill it with washing liquid. And then on an electric panel you set the temperature, duration of the wash and speed, then press start. The machine pumps hot water into the barrel which goes round and round washing the clothes inside. In the end, it drains the water and dries the clothes by spinning them at high temperature. Wow! So this answer is a bit complicated. It's a bit mechanical maybe. But again, I'm giving it you just to show how we paraphrase and describe a machine if you have to. So, let's go on to the second part of my part 2 answer. Why it has made life easier and what we do without it. So I'm covering the last 2 bullet points here. It has made life easier by saving people a lot of time and energy in the home. By relieving people of the difficult, time-consuming and messy task of washing and drying clothes. People have more time to focus on other things, like spending time with the family, or reading or engaging in more stimulating and rewarding pursuits. We are all so used to having washing machines in the home, we couldn't live without them. If we did not have washing machines, I don't know how we would survive. Domestic life would be much more of a chore and a lot more tiring. Okay, so you can see I'm putting my answers together here a bit more. So we covered bullet points 1 and 2, and now I've just covered bullet points 3 and 4. So let's look at the logic. Reminder about the bullet points. My answer follows the logic of the bullet points provided perfectly. The bullet points in your exam might be slightly different, but remember, whatever the bullet points say, this logic, my order, is a great one to remember in all cases. The bullet points in the lesson are only there to help you. You won't be scored on how you actually use them, okay? But they're a great logical guide for preparation, and they follow an English logic. Okay, so let's break down my answer. Firstly, I introduce my machine and I make a general statement about its influence. We'll talk about this in a bit. Secondly, I describe its physical appearance, as if I was telling someone who didn't know what a washing machine was. You don't have to do it in the way that I've done it. As I said, I did it in a very technical way, but I wanted to give you an example of a quite an objective description of a machine, as if we're telling somebody who knows nothing about it. It's a good way to think. Thirdly, I then summarize what it is used for and how it is used. I add some details to this, so not to sound too simplistic. I then, fourthly, explain how it has made life easier for people. Very important bullet point here. I give a number of examples and explanations. I then move on to say a general statement about how we couldn't live without it. This is a conditional grammatical structure, so this is a great opportunity to actually show some slightly more advanced language. I make a general statement about how we couldn't live without it and what the consequences might be for us if we did have to live without it. Nice use of conditional. The bullet points have given us an opportunity to talk about this, but remember, if you're asked about a machine or an invention, it's very good to end your monologue, your long turn, by saying how we couldn't live without it. A good excuse to get some conditional language in there. Okay. So, part 2 task. Describe an invention in the home that's made life easier for people. What the invention is. So, think about inventions in the home. Choose something specific to the home. I'd like to talk about the oven, the air conditioner, underfloor heating, the central heating system, the refrigerator, fridge, freezer, the air purifier, the television. I've used the definite article here, but you could also use the plural because we're talking about a specific invention, but also in general. I'll explain this in a second. So, inventions in the home. Definite article plus singular or the plural. Watch. The oven. I'd like to talk about the oven. I'd like to talk about ovens. Both are correct, but use one or the other. That's the point here. I'd like to talk about the air conditioner. Air conditioners. So when you're introducing, you can start with the definite article. When you move on, you can then choose to use the plural. But when you start using the plural, stick to the plural. The oven, the air conditioner, the refrigerator, the air purifier, the television. Ovens, air conditioners, refrigerators, air purifiers, televisions. Get the ending strong and correct so the examiner at least hears which form you're using, singular or plural. If you use the singular, use the definite article. Get these small details correct, and then you will sound more native. So, the introductory statement. I'd like to talk about the washing machine. It has really revolutionized life in the home. You could say, I'd like to talk about washing machines. They have really revolutionized life in the home. My point is, be consistent in the referencing and the verb form or the pronoun form. That's my point here. Whichever you choose, even if you mix and match, make sure when you're referencing back correctly. Otherwise it will sound, well, it won't sound good enough to get above a 6.5 or a 7. So, I'd like to talk about the washing machine. The washing machine. It has really revolutionized life in the home. Great sentence, general statement about the influence of the invention you've chosen. It has really revolutionized the home. These are some more examples. It has dramatically changed domestic life. Memorize these phrases, they're very good. It has completely transformed how we communicate. It has totally reshaped our working lives. It has radically influenced how people get information. Obviously, these are not all about the washing machine. I'm talking about different inventions here, but I'm saying you can use these phrases to talk about inventions. It has completely transformed how we communicate. That would probably be the mobile phone. It has dramatically changed domestic life. It could also be the washing machine, the refrigerator, the vacuum cleaner. It has totally reshaped our working lives. That could be the computer. It has radically influenced how people get information. That's probably the internet. So my point with these phrases is you can use them when you're describing any machine or object if the question is not about the home as well. Although my example is about the home. There is an expansion on the type of question that might be an invention that has changed people's working lives, an invention which has changed people's lives in cities, etc. You know, I'm trying to encourage some flexibility here. So, a general statement saying how significantly the invention has influenced an aspect of life. Use the present perfect, use structures like this, use an adverb plus your past participle, and then go on to expand on your answer. Start with a general influence statement like this. Get the referencing right. If you choose the washing machine, the internet, say it has. If you say washing machines and internet, say etc. Okay? Right. So, task. Spend a few minutes thinking about this. What inventions could the following descriptions be about? Have really revolutionized the home. Has dramatically changed domestic life. Has completely transformed how we communicate. Has totally reshaped our working lives. Have radically influenced how people get information. I gave you ideas in the previous slide. Just sit down, think about these now yourself, and write down a couple of different things for each bullet point. What could these things be describing? Try to gather a bit of thinking about this kind of question type. Put your ideas down. So, suggested answers. What inventions could the following descriptions be about? Well, refrigerators have really revolutionized the home. Or the refrigerator. The vacuum cleaner has dramatically changed domestic life. The WeChat app has completely transformed how we communicate. See? Didn't have to be mobile phones. Keep trying to expand your thinking. The internet has totally reshaped our working lives. Smartphones have radically influenced how people get information. So think about some more things and how you might describe how they've changed our lives. Let's get back to what it looks like. Back to our example now. Let's rewind, get back to an invention that's made life easier in the home. So 2, I then described what it looks like. Remember, I'm talking about the washing machine. Washing machines are basically large white metal boxes that you put in the kitchen or the bathroom. What am I doing here? Well, I'm first describing the size, the color, the material, and I'm saying where they go, where you put them in the home. So we can normally add, after our description, where they normally live, where they normally are in the home. This is a nice touch. It's also something a native speaker would naturally do. Size, color, material, where they live, where they go in the home. So washing machines are basically large white metal boxes that you put in the kitchen or the bathroom. Size. So let's look at some different ways we can talk about size. Use a bit of imaginative comparison like we do in English. Apart from saying small or large, try to be more specific and creative. Sometimes, not all the time, just sometimes. The microwave is a box about 1/2 meter square. The object is about 30 centimeters high, about 30 centimeters high. It's about the size of a large cardboard box. The tablet is compact and palm-sized. The electric hot pot grill is about the size and shape of a large book. See what I'm doing here? There's different ways of describing things. We can describe things in terms of centimeters, in terms of 1/2 meter, in terms of a comparison. It's about the size of a large cardboard box. That's a very natural native speaker thing to do, is compare size by comparison. Because we're not engineers, you're not going to go and build something to the centimetre. So as normal humans, we might say, wow, the Hummer is a really big vehicle. It's about the size of 2 normal cars. About the size of 2 normal cars. Or my friend James has a massive, huge sofa in his home. It's about the size of a boat. You know, use these comparisons. Sometimes they can be a little bit funny to express the size of something. So it's about the size of a large cardboard box. The tablet is compact, palm-sized. It's palm-sized. We often use palm-sized to describe things like small mobile phones. The electric hot pot grill is about the size and shape of a large book, about this big. Okay? So we've got some ideas here going on to make our descriptions sound a little bit more native. Colour. We can use slightly more sophisticated colour expressions as well. Most of the time, you should very briefly state the colour in the order I've suggested: size, colour, material. That order is quite important. It's a very native, natural order. But there are some different colour expressions we can use to sound more native. Microwaves are usually a silver grey or dark brown colour. Most air purifiers are off-white, cream-coloured, or just plain white. So off-white, cream-coloured, or plain white. Microwaves are a silver grey or dark brown. Laptop computers are often gunmetal grey. That's a good line. Gunmetal grey. Doesn't matter if you associate it with being gunmetal. Doesn't matter. It's a nice phrase. Gunmetal grey or shiny black. Dyson vacuum cleaners are deep purple or red and grey. If you've noticed, the Dyson like to play with colours. They have a gunmetal grey, they have a purple, they have a red, they have a deep purple. You know, play with colours a bit in the test. Just a little bit. So, off-white, cream-coloured, plain white, silver grey, dark brown, gunmetal grey, shiny black, deep purple, red and grey. Shape. Most objects in the house are normal shaped. Think about it. What are normal shapes? Well, rectangular, oblong, box-shaped, square, long and thin, round, oval. You know, we don't need crazy, strange shapes. We don't use the names of crazy, strange, academic, mathematical shapes in normal conversation, but we do say things like rectangular, box-shaped, square, long and thin, round, and oval. We do use these expressions. Objects and shapes. Quickly, let's brainstorm the shapes of objects in the home. Rectangular and thin, a flat-screen TV. Box-shaped, a fridge, an air purifier, a microwave. Square, a touch-screen tablet or an iPad, maybe. Maybe we could also say rectangular for that. Long and thin, a modern Dyson vacuum cleaner, maybe. There's many models. Long and thin, a brush. You know, round, a floor cleaning robot. I don't know, just think about the different shapes of things in the home and make sure you just describe in one word the shape of an object, the size of an object, just to sound more native. Material, so size, shape, material. It's made of light metal, aluminium. It's made of stainless steel. It's plastic, durable, hard, solid plastic. It's made of glass. It's made of perspex. Perspex is a very hard plastic which actually seems like glass. It's kind of like a glass. Wood. It's made of wood. It's made of fabric or cloth. You know, shirt is made of cotton, cloth. So, light metal, aluminium, stainless steel, plastic, durable plastic. It's made of hard plastic. It's made of glass. It's made of perspex, a kind of glass. It's made of wood. It's made of fabric or cloth. Again, simple words, nothing complicated, but we're still expressing ourselves like a native, and that's how to get a higher score. So flexibly select the best descriptions. It's good to practice this. You do not have to combine all of these things, of course. You can choose the descriptive elements most useful for the object that you want to describe. Just be aware of all of them so you can flexibly use them in many different answers across the test, especially if it's appropriate to the context. Where it goes in the home. Okay, where it goes in the home. Everything has a place where it lives in our homes. Washing machines are basically large white metal boxes that you put in the kitchen or the bathroom. Air purifiers are basically 50 centimeters high rectangular electronic boxes that you put in the corner of the main rooms in your house. That you put in the corner of the main rooms in the house. A television is a large meter-long flat screen that usually sits on top of a TV table against the wall of a living room. That's quite interesting. That usually sits on top of a TV table against the wall of a living room. People usually put vacuum cleaners in a store cupboard or out of the way on the balcony or in a utility room. People usually put vacuum cleaners in a store cupboard or out of the way on the balcony or in a utility room. Okay? Right. Task, where things go. Description plus location. So, washing machines are basically large white mock boxes that you put in the kitchen or the bathroom. A water heater is which you usually put. Okay, so finish this task. Pause the slide after I finish. Finish this task. The fish aquarium is description that usually sits on where it goes. Exercise bikes are, what's an exercise bike? How would you describe that? Size, color, material that people usually put. So pause the slide and write your own sentences for this. It's good practice. So where things go, description plus location, location. Possible examples. A water heater is a tall square machine with a plastic bottle on top, full of water on top, which you usually put in the kitchen or dining area. A fish aquarium is an oblong glass tank with water and fish in it that usually sits on top of a solid rectangular wooden unit or cupboard in the living room. Exercise bikes are metal bikes where the wheel is off the ground on a stand, so the bike does not move, that you can find in the gym or that people put in the corner of their living room or bedroom. So notice where I choose to use size, color, material, just size material, color material. See how we can flexibly use these. I'm going to read these again. The water heater is a tall square machine with a plastic bottle full of water on top, which you usually put in the kitchen or dining area. A fish aquarium is an oblong glass tank with water and fish in it that usually sits on top of a solid, regular, rectangular wooden unit or cupboard in the living room. Exercise bikes are metal bikes where the wheel is off the ground on a stand, so the wheel doesn't move, so the bike doesn't move, that you can find in the gym or that people put in the corner of their living room or bedroom. Simple sentences, but very, very native speaker. So, part 2, task. Describe an invention in the home that's made life easier for people. So, remember what I was talking about. Let's get back to my model answer. We talked about what the invention is. That was the washing machine. How you use it and what it does was the second bullet point. So, let's take a look at this. So, how to use it and what it does. How you use it and what it does, if you like. Its main function and how we use it. So I said, and are used for washing clothes and fabrics like bed sheets, pillowcases, or even curtains. So I described it, then I said, and they are used for washing clothes. Washing machines are used for washing clothes. Or the washing machine is used for washing clothes. Again, get the verb number right and the references right if you choose to use the definite article plus singular or the plural noun. Right, it is used for plus ing. People use it for plus ing. It's essential for plus ing. 3 good, neat phrases for describing how to use something or what it does. Remember to change it for they if you're speaking about the object in the plural, as I was with washing machines. How to use it or what it does. So let's look at my answer. Step-by-step logic here. Put simply, you load the clothes into the machine, pull out a small plastic tray in the front and fill it with washing liquid. And then, on an electric panel, you set the temperature, duration and of the wash and speed. Then you press start. The machine pumps water into the barrel, which goes round and round and round, washing the clothes inside. In the end, it drains the water and dries the clothes by spinning them at a high temperature. Okay, that's a fairly detailed description. I'm not suggesting you have to do this, but I'm using it as a nice model example. So, features of machines. Now, there are some features of machines, quite topic-specific vocabulary that are quite useful here. Learn some basic features of machines, pieces of equipment and gadgets. Just learn them. There aren't that many, but it really will make you sound so much more fluent and accurate. An electronic panel, a plastic tray, a glass and metal door, a dial, a temperature control, a digital display, an off and on switch, a remote control, a plug or socket. So, there's a few basic things that apply to different types of machines or quite normal machines in the house or in our lives. Try to use these. Right. Verbs for using machines. Collocations and typical machine features. To load clothes into a washing machine. We say to load clothes into a washing machine. To set a high temperature or time or duration on an electronic display. This could be an electronic display on top of an air purifier. The program, to program the device, machine settings, to put in how long you want the air purifier to run for, what time you would like it to turn on, what power setting you want it to be on. You program an air conditioner, you program a microwave, you program an air purifier, you program many types of machines. So, to program the device, the machine, the settings. To adjust the settings. That means to change the settings a little bit. To adjust the settings on an air conditioner, an oven, a washing machine maybe. To fill the tray with washing liquid. Of course, that's very specific to washing machines. You have to pull the tray out, you pour liquid in, and you close the tray. You fill the tray with liquid. To plug in a kettle, an electrical appliance, an air conditioner. a computer, you plug it in. You plug it in. To plug in a computer or a kettle, you plug it in. To turn on, to switch on, to start a machine. To turn off, to switch off a machine. Some of this is quite simple, but you would be surprised. As soon as you start talking about a machine and you get these words wrong, you stop sounding like a native and you simply won't get that 7. You won't get that 7 or 7.5. However simple you might think these constructions and these words are. So, sequencing. When giving usage instructions, sequencing is important. The logic of sequencing. You know how to do this. I won't spend too much time on it. But remember little words like first, and then, after that, at the end, or in the end. Get these right. First, and then you do this. After that, you do this. At the end, you do this. Make sure you put these in, because they also buy you time. They also give you time to pause in the right way, which gives you a higher score on pronunciation and therefore fluency. So connect your description together logically. What it does. Add a sentence about what it does. The machine pumps water into the barrel, which goes round and round, washing the clothes inside. In the end, it drains the water and dries the clothes by spinning them at a high temperature. So, it pumps water into the barrel. It goes round and round. The barrel goes round and round, washing the clothes inside. In the end, it drains the water away, dries the clothes. So, 4 little steps that the machine does. Think about things in the steps that this object or machine does. Think about things in steps. It helps you build the language a lot easier. So, what does a something do? Think about these machines. This is a task, if you like. What do they do? An oven, an air conditioner, a refrigerator, a television, an air purifier. How do you use these machines? What do they do? So there's 2 steps here. Remember, I talked about the washing machine. I first talked about how I use it, like what I do to it. I actually talked about the programming of it. And then I talked about what it does. So think about what these machines do here and what they do. How do you use them? What they do. How do you use them and what they do? Have a think about this. So, task. Use my examples above as a model for logic and language. Copy them, use them, but flexibly use them with your own machines. So, choose 2 of the inventions in the previous slide. Write sentences to describe how do you use it. How do you use this invention or these inventions? Again, notice I'm going from these to it. You must follow this. When you use it, make sure the rest is singular. When you use these or they, make sure it's plural. Get this right. I keep saying it, but it will keep your marks up. How do you use this invention? How do you use it? What does it do? So choose 2 inventions and do this for each one. How do you use it? What does it do? Write a sentence for each, please. So, why it has made life easier. Not is, why it has made life easier. How it has made life easier. The same, basically. It has made life easier by saving people a lot of time and energy in the home. By relieving people of the difficult, time-consuming and messy task of washing and drying clothes. People have more time to focus on other things, like spending time with the family, or reading or engaging in more stimulating and rewarding pursuits. So there's 2 different patterns and structures I'd like you to see here. There's a lot going on. I'm going to read it again. It has made life easier by saving people a lot of time and energy in the home. By relieving people of the difficult, time-consuming and messy task of washing and drying clothes, people have more time to focus on other things, like spending time with family, or reading or engaging in more stimulating and rewarding pursuits. So two different structures that are quite similar here. How it's made life easier. It has made life easier plus comparative adjective plus by plus ing. It has made life easier by saving people a lot of time and energy at home. It has made life easier by saving people a lot of time and energy at home. Air conditioners have made life more comfortable by enabling us to keep our homes cool in the stifling heat of summer. The new subway system has made commuting faster by providing a way for people to avoid traffic jams and get off closer to work. Online apps have made arranging transport more efficient by giving us the chance to book and pay in seconds online. To book and pay in seconds online. So, something has or have made life easier by something. So, comparative adjective plus verbing after by. Set structure. Has made life easier by enabling us to. So after we say by plus ing, we may also add the verb infinitive. We develop the structure. By enabling us to keep our houses cool. By providing us with the chance to. By helping us to. By giving us the ability to. So when you're adding these other verbs, get the ing or the infinitive bit correct, and whether it carries a to before it or a bare infinitive without the to. Then you're starting to build longer complex structures with greater accuracy. Cause and effect. So this is the second pattern. Another structure using by plus verb ing, but starting with that at the head of the question. By relieving people of the difficult, time-consuming and messy task of washing and drying clothes, people have more time to focus on other things. Or they have more time to focus on other things. By giving people more free time, they have more chance to enjoy more cultural and leisure activities. By freeing people from having to do tiring, difficult manual chores, they have more energy to focus on important family duties. So this is a very colloquial way of putting this sentence together. I wouldn't advise it necessarily in writing in this particular way, but in speaking, it sounds very natural. By giving people more time, they have more chance to. Again, there's a grammatical reason why I'm suggesting you wouldn't use this in a writing grammar test, but when we're speaking, it sounds very natural and very native. By relieving people of difficult, time-consuming and messy task of washing and drying clothes, they have more time to focus on other things. People have more opportunities to do Cause and effect structure. Right, so part 2, task. Describe an invention in the home that has made life easier for people. The final bullet point. What people would do if it had not been invented. This is, remember, our chance to use the conditional a little bit. What people would do if it had not been invented. We are also used to having washing machines in the home. We couldn't live without them. If we did not have washing machines, I don't know how we would survive. Domestic life would be much more of a chore and a lot more tiring. We couldn't live without them. If we did not have washing machines, I don't know how we would survive. Domestic life would be much more of a chore and a lot more tiring. So we've got 3 steps going on here. We couldn't live without them. If we did not have them, I don't know how we would survive. Domestic life would be much more of a chore. So, conditional structure. Look at the 3 different structures and patterns going on here. If we did not have the mobile phone, we would not be able to make last-minute arrangements. If we did not have the mobile phone, we would not be able to make last-minute arrangements. Washing machines are essential nowadays. We couldn't live without them. Life in the home in summer would be really difficult without air conditioners. So look at each structure. What are the grammar patterns going on here? If we did not have something, we would not be able to. Washing machines are essential nowadays. We couldn't live without them. Simple memory structure, we can use that. Life in the home would be really difficult without the object. So 3 different patterns. The middle one is just a structure you can remember. The others remember, but practice putting them into your own sentences to really keep those crystallized in mind. Right, so task. Use my examples above. Again, the best way to crystallize that language. Complete the gaps with inventions and ideas of your own, and please get the grammar right, because you will not get over a 6 or a 6.5 if you keep making errors. If we did not have da-da-da-da-da, we would not be able to. Da-da-da-da-da are adjective of convenience nowadays. We couldn't live without them. Life, da-da-da-da-da, in the home, in the countryside, on Mars, would be very difficult without da-da-da-da-da. Okay, write your own. Pause the slide, write your own. Forcing yourself to use these structures, fill them in with your own ideas, will be a brilliant way to remember them. Okay, so if it had not been invented, classic third conditional phrases. If the washing machine had not been invented, then people would spend hours each day washing clothes. If the computer had not been created, it would be almost impossible to do international business quickly and efficiently. If nobody had invented the refrigerator, then we would have to buy fresh food almost every single day. So these are some more examples to help you crystallize these formulas into describing objects and machines. So homework tasks. Using what we've covered in this lesson, complete the following task. Make sure you please plan and make notes all the time. Use all the key language we have learnt. Flexibly adapt that language to different tasks, to the different questions and tasks. Right, so task 1. Describe an invention in the home that has made life easier for people. Same one. Choose another machine of your own in the home or invention. What the invention is, what it does, why it's made life easier, and what people would do if it had not been invented. Task 2. Describe a piece of equipment in school that has made life easier for students. Say what the equipment is, what it does, why this has made life easier, and what people would do if it had not been invented. So a piece of equipment in school that's made life easier for students. Task 3. Describe a major invention that's changed the lives of most people living in cities on Earth. Say what the major invention is, what it does, why this has changed life for people in the world, and what people would do if it had not been invented. So, 3 tasks along with bullet points. I want you to plan 3 long turns and build on that plan and write them in detail using the logic, the language, the structures, the patterns, the lexis we've been using today. Get them into practice. It's the only way to become natural at this. So, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next lesson.